Coming up on Mountain News this morning, severe weather turned deadly yesterday afternoon in Prestonsburg. We take you to the scene. We are entering the 14th day of an ongoing severe weather outbreak. More on what areas were hit by tornadoes on Wednesday. And people along the Mississippi River are preparing for historic flooding this morning. We will have more on one of the most affected cities.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 6 o'clock on Thursday, May the 30th. I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News This Morning. Yesterday, things got hairy in a real quick hurry. It claimed the life of one person, and we certainly keeping their family in our thoughts and prayers this morning. We're in a severe weather alert day as a result of yesterday's storm and the expecting weather we expect today. Let's bring Brandon in this morning. And Brandon, much of the same area that saw much of the weather yesterday is back in the crosshairs today.
Exactly, and here's the thing, it won't take a whole lot of wind, especially in Prestonsburg, to do more damage to that building, so that's something we're watching very closely. But again, that area, as you mentioned, kind of the bullseye for the greatest risk of severe weather. Let's go to the maps right now, and you can see on the satellite radar the last few hours the rain just off in the distance, not quite to us yet. The clouds are starting to stream in. Live pinpoint Doppler radar is still quiet so far this morning. Temperatures mild but a little cooler than yesterday. 63 Jonesville, 62 Harlan. Everybody else in the mid to upper 60s across the area. Almanac for today, 84 the forecast high. We averaged 78 this time of the year. Record of 90. We're getting very close to that today. Set back on this day in 2006. The progression will be basically dry for the morning hours, and then those showers and storms will pick up this afternoon, especially 2 o'clock and into the early evening hours. I'll have that full forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you. While most of the country has been dealing with severe weather for most of the last 2 weeks, a storm turned deadly here at home yesterday afternoon. Officials in Prestonsburg say the roof of a building was blown off and crashed down onto a vehicle with a Pike County man and his fiancee inside. The man was killed. His fiancee, however, was not hurt. We do know the man's name, but are not releasing it to make sure all of his family has been notified first. First responders say they worked quickly but could not have done anything more to save him.
The roof was laying over the vehicle. We were able to get underneath the roof, stabilize that a little bit, break the windows to get in. We assessed the patient, and he was obviously deceased.
City officials fear the building could now be in danger of collapsing. West Court Street will remain closed while an engineer evaluates the building's stability and the area is cleaned up. Meanwhile, people who live around where the storm happened says it took place in a matter of seconds. They told WYMT's Connor James they're still trying to comprehend it all.
In a matter of moments, chaos erupted in downtown Prestonsburg.
Our building was shaking. The chairs were moving sideways.
Caitlin works right down the street from where the roof blew off the old Hawk Shop building, killing a man driving through.
I was worried about my babies because they're at daycare. That's my only thought. And where my husband and my father were, because they work around here, and that was my only thought. Where were they?
The roof landed in the middle of West Court Street, now closed indefinitely. Others say the storm and the sounds woke them up.
And then we heard like a large bang, like as if something outside it almost popped or a tree cracked or something like that. And then all the power went out in the area.
Dakota Chaffins is like many who are still in shock about what happened.
You know, it seems severe, but you never really think it's that bad, that it's something like that would happen. So it's always a little eye-opening.
Again, that was Connor James reporting. For more than 2 weeks, deadly storms have rocked communities across the country. Linwood, Kansas is dealing with the aftermath of a powerful EF4 tornado. Karen Kafa is on the ground in Kansas with the latest.
It sounded like a freight train going over. I just feel my house coming apart.
32 miles of devastation in Linwood, Kansas after an EF4 tornado with 170-mile-per-hour winds ripped homes and businesses from their foundations.
Oh my God, it's huge.
The twister on the ground for nearly an hour.
And I had a 7 by 14 foot trailer back here, and we still don't know where it's at.
Felt like some hail or something, and my husband looked up and he said, well, we don't have a roof anymore.
There hasn't been a day since May 16th that the U.S. hasn't seen a tornado on the ground. From Oklahoma to New Jersey, there's been relentless devastation from violent storms for 14 days.
That's a tornado.
Now, Texas is the latest state to get hit. This tornado caught on camera outside of Dallas Wednesday evening.
This is the first time ever that we have had all of our emergency support function leads inside the EOC.
Historic flooding has killed at least one person in Arkansas. States of emergency have been declared in Oklahoma, Kansas, Iowa, Ohio, and Arkansas. Despite losing everything, one survivor says he's just grateful he's still alive.
We're all right. My dog's all right. My wife's all right. All this could be replaced, you know.
In Linwood, Kansas, I'm Karen Kafa.
Now, the outbreak continued yesterday in Texas with at least one tornado reported near Dallas, as it said. It happened in the community of Canton. In this video, you can see the twister moving through the city. We are told the storm damaged homes and businesses, but just missed the historic town square. Thankfully, no injuries were reported. People in New Jersey spent the day on Wednesday cleaning up from a tornado there. This is drone footage showing significant damage to homes in the city of Hopatcong from the twister, officially rated an EF1 by the National Weather Service. On the ground, trees were snapped and pushed over onto cars and homes. Neighbors say it all happened in just a matter of seconds.
It seriously looked like something out of a movie. I looked out of the back of the house and there were trees coming down. I must have seen 3 of them fall within 5 seconds. And it all happened within 30 seconds to a minute.
Students, parents, and staff at a nearby high school were stuck inside during the storm. There were no injuries, thankfully, reported. Well, it was a similar scene in Berks County, Pennsylvania, after an EF2 tornado touched down there Tuesday night. Kevin Farrell had just got home from work and captured the moment the storm arrived on his cell phone. In the video, you can hear the second the wind shift, sending debris flying into the air.
I tried to get back in the house. The door was against me, so I had to push in. I came in, the windows were flying out, all the glass.
Others were not so lucky. One couple says the tornado literally ripped off the entire back of their house, leaving debris strewn about the first floor. Again, thankfully, only one minor injury was reported. Well, back here at home, one Estill County group is helping out storm victims up north this morning. The Hunter Hound Search and Recovery Group is collecting paper towels, diapers, detergent, and other items for folks in Ohio. All of these supplies are heading to Dayton. Families there are trying to move forward after multiple destructive tornadoes. The high winds ripped apart homes, threw cars across property, and ripped down power lines.
It's heartbreaking. I mean, to have everything and then just overnight lose it all. I mean, I couldn't imagine. What took these families a lifetime to build, they lost it in just a matter of minutes. So hopefully, we can help out all we can and let these people, be reinsured that these people are here willing to help.
This group will deliver those donations later today. They set off from the Estill County Fairgrounds at 4 this morning. The Mississippi is expected to crest at its second highest level ever in St. Louis. On Tuesday, the National Weather Service updated its forecast, projecting a crest of 45.2 feet. The only time the Mississippi River has been higher in St. Louis was during the Great Flood of 1993. City officials said sandbagging would begin along the river Thursday morning. Authorities also said city workers and Army Corps of Engineer experts will be walking levees to check for issues. Well, in Arkansas, historic floods turned deadly yesterday. A 64-year-old man drowned in his van near the city of Fort Smith. CBS's Manuel Bojorquez has more.
The Arkansas River has reached its highest level in recorded history. That row of trees is typically where the riverbank is. Look at where the water is now. The Game and Fish Commission is patrolling the waters and brought us along. This street in Fort Smith is under 5 to 8 feet. Homes are still taking on water.
I'm not sure that we'll ever see what we saw before the flood. I think that it will change the landscape around here. People may not come back.
Those who have been spared are nervously watching the levees, which for now are still holding.
What are going to be the difficulties going forward?
Well, the bad thing is it just seems to keep on raining.
And that has people downstream preparing to leave.
You just go through this anxiety of what's going to happen when it gets here. But it's also like Christmas because you just prepare until the big day gets here.
People here got the last thing they needed today in the form of thunderstorms. Officials do not expect the river to start receding until possibly Friday, and even then, very slowly. Manuel Bojorquez, CBS News, Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Now, people in Florida are concerned about hurricanes, but they would not necessarily leave their homes if big storms rolled in. That's according to a new survey by AAA. It shows that more than 90% of Floridians are at least somewhat concerned about hurricanes this year, but more than 60% say it would take at least a Category 3 storm for them to evacuate. Only 1 in 5 Floridians say they wouldn't leave their homes, period. Well, the Hindman Volunteer Fire Department asks for the community's help in replacing a 1,250-gallon tank that crashed back in early April. Fire Chief Preston Hayes says April 10th was a bad day for the books, but certainly not the worst day ever. Thankfully, no one was hurt in the crash that resulted from what firefighters believe was a brake failure, rolling over the wheel chalk, hitting a tree, and landing on its top. Hindman Volunteer Fire Department's tanker 104 was left totaled.
Kind of looked like the Titanic, if you will, with the rear of the truck kind of went out of view with the nose pointed up.
Chief Hayes went on to say that replacing the new tanker comes with a hefty price tag. Estimates show it could cost anywhere from $220,000 to $240,000. Anyone interested in donating can find more information on WYMT.com.
We continue to track the possibility for severe weather later today, and because of that, it is a WYMT severe weather alert day. Let's get into the forecast this morning with the wide view on the satellite and radar. Of course, the showers and storms that have plagued much of the eastern section of the country the last couple of days continue this morning, riding along a cold front that'll move through later tonight and into tomorrow for us here in the mountains. We come back home, a few clouds rolling through, but again, no rain just yet. We hope we see some showers and storms this morning because that will negate some of that energy that could be around here later today. Temperatures in the 60s as we head through the first part of your morning. So a mild start to the day. That's basically the trend across the entire state. Close to 70 out west. The 12-hour planner will show you temperatures here should climb into the 80s. We should see a little bit of sunshine mixed with clouds for a while today. Those chances for showers and storms will pop up later this afternoon. Will?
Appreciate it, Brandon, and thank you for getting your day started with us right here on Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. Coming up, more on how some of the food you eat could be linked to more health problems down the road.
More and more cashierless businesses are popping up across the country. I'm Hillary Lane with more on how the technology is revolutionizing the checkout process.